Hello everybody, welcome to the Go language course. In this video, I'm going to discuss the use of three keywords in Go language, namely defer, panic, and recover. Before I do so, I have to include the main package on the first line of the program. And I have to also import the FMT package so that I'm able to use the printline function coming from this package. Now let us go to the main function. We can use the defer, panic, and recover keywords to handle errors. So let us see the meaning of the three keywords. The defer keyword can help us schedule a function call to be executed after the surrounding function completes. And the panic keyword will stop the execution immediately. And the recover keyword would help us to regain control of panicking coroutine. So let us try to go through each of the keywords in more detail after seeing the brief introduction of these keywords. The first one to talk about is the defer keyword. So the defer keyword would help us schedule a function call to be executed after the surrounding function call completes. So the deferred functions can run regardless of how the surrounding function exists, whether it already completes normally or whether it completes due to a panic. So let us see the following simple example. I have a printline statement here, and after that I have a deferred printline statement. And if this one is deferred, I would just let it execute after the surrounding function calls are complete. That means I would try to execute the next printline function before I go back to the deferred function. So let us see the result of running these lines of code first. So you can see that after the execution, you can see the first line is executed as usual, and the second line to execute is the printline statement after the deferred function. So the deferred function will come finally here, okay? That's why it will become the final statement to show up here, because the printline statement here is already deferred. It will wait until other functions are executed completely. Okay, that is the meaning of the defer keyword. That means I want to defer the execution of some functions after all other functions are complete. Okay. How about the situation if multiple defer statements are present? If this is the case, they will be executed in the last in first out order. That means the latest one to show up in the main function will come first. That means you will see that I will have third, second, and first, because the final deferred one will show up first. Okay, so let us see the result. Yes, third, second, and first. So the last deferred function will show up first, and then the second last one will be shown later, and the very first deferred function will show finally. Okay. This means the last in first out order will be fulfilled. Okay. So we know how to use the defer keyword already. How about the panic keyword? When a panic really exists, the program will stop after executing the panic statement. What does it mean by this sentence? Let us see. We have a printline statement here, and I have a panic statement following it. And if the panic statement is executed, it will not be able to go through other upcoming lines of code. So when I want to show the printline function here, you will see that this line of code is unreachable. That means after the panic function, I'm not able to execute other functions after the panicking. Okay, so let us see the result. Yes, you can see that I'm able to show the first printline function here to say that I'm about to panic. And after this one, I would go to the panic function directly. So you can see the panic statement here. And after that, I'm not able to go further after the panic statement has shown up here. That means the next printline function is not able to be reached. That means I'm not able to execute this printline function after the panic statement. Okay. So if a panic statement is used in a function, what will happen? If a function really panics due to the panic keyword, it will execute any deferred functions and then return to its caller. So what does it mean by this sentence? Let us see this example. I want to defer the printline statement here, and after the deferring action is done, I want to run the function called divide, which is on top of the main function. And after that, I would like to run the printline function after the divide function. So before I go further to discuss the effect, I want to see the content of the divide function first. Yes, this is the divide function. I want to do the division, and I would like to see that whether the divisor is 0 or not. If the divisor called b is really 0, I would do the panicking by showing a panic statement here. If b is not 0, I can do the ordinary division. Okay, so you can see that the function would be designed to return an integer after the division result has come out. But the divisor is 0, it is not able to do the division. That's why I would like to do the panic statement here. Okay, and if I defer the printline function before I go to the divide function, what will happen? Let us try to run the program and see the effect first, and then I will discuss the effect. So we can see that when I run the code here, the divide function would return a panic statement here. And we already say that when the function panics, it executes any deferred function first and then return to the caller. So we have got a deferred function before the divide function, and this deferred function will be executed when the panic occurs in the function. Okay, and after the panic statement is already shown up here, I'm going to go back to the caller, that is the main function. So the main function is going to call the panicking function called divide. That's why I would say that I would handle the deferred functions first, and then I will go to the panic statement, and after that I will allow the main function to do the rest. And since the panic function is already executed, the program will just stop. So in this situation, the statements or the code after the panicking function will not be further executed. That's why I won't see this sentence called end of division in my result. Okay, so we have to run the panicking function, and the panicking function will do the deferred function first, followed by the final panicking. And after the panicking, all other code will not be executed further. So this is the explanation of the panic effect that occurs in the function. Okay. And now we are going to discuss the use of the recover keyword. This keyword is a built-in function that regains control of a panicking function. So we saw that in the previous case, the panicking function would just stop the entire execution by returning the control to the caller, which is the main function, like the divide function here. Okay, when this panicking function is already executed, the program cannot go any further. But when we use the recover keyword, we can allow the program to continue. So this keyword is used in a deferred function, and this keyword can capture the panic message. After capturing, we can handle this captured message. So let us go to the do panicking function here, and I'm going to run this function, and then I'm going to do the rest by using the recover keyword. Okay, this is the do panicking function, which is this one. So we need to defer the anonymous function so that after panicking, this function can continue to run. This function means the anonymous function. So I want to defer an anonymous function in my do panicking function. Okay, so if I want to do the deferral here, I can use the recover keyword to allow the further execution to regain control of the deferred function so that the rest of the code can be executed further. So what will I do? I want to defer this function, and after the deferral, I'm going to print out this statement first, just by running all other code after the deferred function. Okay, and I'm able to print out this line, and after that I'm able to show the panic message here. When I want to run the panicking message here, I would go to the deferred function first by running the deferred function first. And the deferred function is able to help us recover the panicking. So the panicking result will be stored in R. And I would just print out this result because the recovered result will never become null after the recovery. Okay. So I will print out this statement. And after that, this line will not be ever printed because this panicking issue is already handled by the recover function. And after that, the do panicking function would end, and I will be able to go to other lines of the function in the main function, because the calling function, that is the main function, is going to allow the rest of the code to execute. So let us try to see the result first. So I'm able to go to the do panicking function, and I'm able to defer the function first, which is an anonymous one. This anonymous function is deferred, so that I'm able to print out this line out. And I'm able to do the panicking, but this panicking will be recovered by the deferred function, okay? Because the panicking has to wait until the deferred function is done. So before I do the panicking, the deferred function is able to help me recover the panicking, okay? So the recover function here is able to help me regain control in the course of the panicking, and the recovered panicking will be shown here, saying recovered from panic, something went terribly wrong. Okay, so initially I wanted to show the panicking and I would stop the program from going further, but now the deferred function is executed first, so that I'm able to recover the panicking that is introduced after the deferral of the function, which is an anonymous one shown here, okay? And after handling the recovered panicking, I'm able to do the rest, so that I'm able to show after finishing do panicking here, okay? So this line is obtained after executing the do panicking function that contains a deferred function. And in this deferred function, we have the recover keyword here to recover from the panicking, okay? And we have to see something like this one. Note that the do panicking function is run before the panic message, okay? So the deferred function is written before the panicking message, okay? Otherwise, the panicking message would stop the whole program. So that's why we have to realize this fact. The function to defer should be mentioned before I go to the panic message, okay? So this video has discussed a lot of things about the three keywords called defer, panic, and recover. They are used to handle errors in Go language. The defer keyword can help us schedule a function call to be run after the surrounding function calls are all complete. So the deferred functions will be run after all other functions are handled, or just executed. If we have multiple defer statements, we use the last in first out order to handle the deferred functions one by one. And for the panic keyword, if a panic really exists, the program will stop after the panic statement, and other codes will not be executed further. If a panic is occurring in a function, the panicking will just allow the execution of any deferred function first, and then the panic function will return control to the caller of the panicking function, okay? And for the recover keyword here, I can handle the recovery of a panicking function, and after that I can do the rest of the code, because the recover keyword here is already able to handle the panic message just after declaring a function to defer. This is the end of the video. If you have any questions about my video, please leave your questions on the comment section below the video. If you like this video, please give me a like and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.